We'll start with Khalid H. Khan, followed by Andre Heisman, as well as Nathan Khokhela.
Hello, Mark. Mark, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can everyone hear
Mark,
me?
can you hear me?
Please go ahead, Khalid.
Mark, first of all, yeah, first of all, commemoration, what happened in Karachi, that's in the past. So, coming into this match, do you think the conditions are more in your favor compared to what you saw in Karachi?
Um, Sorry, I've just got a message just saying that my voice is a bit soft.
Should I repeat again? Yeah, what I'm saying is, what happened in Karachi is now is gone. So now coming to Rawalpindi, do you think the conditions that we see now, with the clouds cover and everything, do you think they are more suitable for your kind of borders?
I think if you look at the history of this ground, you would probably say that it's more seamer friendly. That's what we've been reading, and looking at the past results as well. When we first got here, was it 3 days ago? There's quite a bit of grass on the wickets. We then got there yesterday, and all that grass has been taken off. The surface looks to be very dry. Just having a chat around the ground, to a couple of the Pakistan players and coaching staff as well. They don't seem to be too sure how it's actually going to play. I mean, there's been a lot of talk in the media about how they're wanting to dry the wicket out. Obviously, because of the spinning conditions and the way we sort of played in Karachi as well. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't think anyone really knows how it's going to play. There's a lot of plates on the wicket, so it is certainly very dry. And there's not much grass. I mean, most of the grass is cut off 2 days ago. There's a bit of moisture around. There's a lot of dew early morning. We're probably not going to get full day of play in because it gets very dark early on. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's an interesting one. I'm not too sure. I mean, if the Pakistan guys are not too sure it's going to play, it's quite difficult for us to make a call on it. We're probably going to have to cover both angles.
Thanks, Bouch. Andre Nathan Kin.
Hi, Mark. Just your initial reaction to Cricket Australia pulling out of the South African tour. Is it a bit of a disruption for the two squads currently in Pakistan, or not really?
No, I wouldn't say disruption. I think we're very focused on what the job at hand is in Pakistan. I think it's disappointing. It's certainly disappointing. I think CSA has expressed their disappointment as well, and it's no different for the players. We had sort of made a lot of plans. I know that there was a lot of planning going into the Australian tour back home. We haven't really been a part of that, but I mean, it seems to be, I mean, that a lot of goalposts were being moved for that particular tour for Australia. For example, the one positive that came out of the bubble against Sri Lanka was the hotel that we stayed at. We thought it was a great hotel for us as South Africans. It sort of suits our needs and our sort of cultural way that we are being outdoors. And we even surrendered that to Australia. So, there's probably a feeling that we are laying down the red carpet a bit for Australia, which is frustrating at times. So, yeah, I mean, after all of that, having a look at where it is now and having been postponed, very disappointing and I suppose disruptive with regards to our plans going forward, but certainly won't hamper us in this next test match. I think the focus is on trying to level this test series.
Nathan.
Afternoon, Mark. Graham officially announced the inbound tour of this Australia will not go ahead. Will any of the management staff be staying in Pakistan? And will you perhaps be keeping additional players from the test squad for the T20s? Thank you.
Okay, so we won't be keeping any test players. It's just it's bubbles intermingling, and it's just literally it probably won't happen. Well, it's not going to happen. The management, as far as I know, myself, Langers, Sipakazi will be staying over and looking after that T20 squad that will be coming over. I think they've already actually arrived. So yeah, I mean it's not ideal. There's been a lot of planning that's gone into the two tours and also going back and quarantining for Australia. So the planning is all there. We were told right at the, at a very late moment that this is going to happen or wasn't going to happen. It's difficult for us to all of a sudden turn around and start changing plans up when there's a T20 around the corner. So we're going to keep the players as per is, and one or two of our management will continue to stay on here and join the T20 squad.
Ken, followed by Fidos.
Thanks, Sivakazi. Hi, Mark. How much of a blow was it to lose Tabraiz Shamsi just before the first test? And would you say the planning will be similar for this game, providing Shamo is fit, of course, or do you think a seam bowler who bowls more sort of wicket to wicket, like a Vian Mulder, maybe comes into the picture?
Yeah, to answer the first question, it was a very big blow. I mean, it's you sort of name a team, and 20 minutes before toss, you're busy scrambling, and I think it just broke a bit of a. There's a bit of a bubble burst for us right before the game, making excuses though. But certainly, I would love to have seen our Shamo bowled on that wicket. We saw how good their leg spinner was. A wrist spinner on that was always turn the ball more than what finger spinners were. So, who knows what he would have done in it. I think there were other reasons why we lost the game, certainly not from our bowling. But yeah, going to this game, Shama has had a recent back injury. He hasn't had a lot of overs that he's bowled because of this back injury. Going to this game, yes, he might be effective in this game on this particular pack that we can be playing. My concern is, and a bit of a red flag for me, is that if he does bowl quite a few overs, wakes up the next morning and he's back sore again, and he's not able to push through, then you're stuck with one bowler light. So it is a massive red light for me, especially because of the sort of pain that he had with his back going forward. So we have to take that into consideration regarding selection. Another concern is Kesh. Kesh sort of played up at practice yesterday. He went for scans with the doc, came back. There is something there, but he bowled quite a few overs today, and he felt fine. So we'll wait and see how he recovers from his bowling that he had today, tomorrow. So yeah, we haven't selected a final 11 yet. Vian Mulder is certainly in the plans. If the wicket is if there's a lot of cracks and puzzle pieces, like I said, there was in this particular wicket, it might be up and down. So a guy who's able to hit good areas for long periods of time is always going to be difficult to play. So yes, certainly he is in the running. Especially looking at our batting, the way that we batted in the first test, he will add a different sort of look to the side as well, with the extra all-rounder position.
Fidos, Abdul Mohir, and then Bazif.
Hi, Mark. I just actually wanted to get a bit more of a fitness update. Do you have anything on Dean Elgar? And then could you just repeat what was that happened to Keshav yesterday? I just didn't get that.
Dean seems to be fine. He batted yesterday with the injection, and he said he couldn't feel anything, whether couldn't feel pain or couldn't feel anything in the hand. I mean, he batted fine. He batted today as well, and he didn't seem to have any pain. So as far as where we're concerned, he's fit and ready to go. Kesh yesterday during a session, he turned around and he felt some sort of pain in his rib area. He went to the doctor, complained about it. It was a little bit sore. He then went for scans. The scan came up that there was something there. It might be a minor little tear or a bruising of some sort. He then bowled today. I think he bowled close to 15 overs just to really test himself. He felt fine. He felt that the pain was bearable. But we're not ready to make a call on him yet because you never know how his body will react overnight. If he wakes up in the morning, and he knows as well, he needs to give us an early call on how he feels. It's one of those things, where as a player, you're the only one who really knows if the pain is bearable to bowl through. So I'm going to have to trust Kesh on this. If he wakes up in the morning, he's fine to play, then he'll get the nod.
Yeah, this is Abdul Mohit Shah from the news here. My question is about your batting lineup. It was a bit suspect in the first innings. So do you think you have got enough time in between two tests to prepare and get ready for the Pakistan spin bowling, since this pitch is a bit different what we have seen in the recent past. It is more like a slow track, and possibly it will spin more than it usually did in the past. So how you would see the coming test, especially the last 3-4 days?
Yeah, look, you say suspect batting lineup. I don't think it's a suspect batting lineup. I think it just needs a lot more mental application from a batting perspective. Also, having 2 runouts in your top 6 is never going to be easy to recover from in subcontinent conditions. I thought we won a good toss. We got off to a good start, and then we sort of just didn't have the mental application to counteract what was some tight bowling. We spoke about this in before the game. But I think sometimes players have to actually physically go through it or see opposition and how they actually play it. So I think our batting in the second innings was a lot better. The application was a lot better. We saw a good partnership with Aiden and Rassi. So I think if that's anything to go by, hopefully the guys have learned the lesson fairly quickly. We've done a lot of work on spin going into this ground, into this game, having a look at the conditions and seeing how dry it is. So we believe that we've prepared, and we've spoken about a lot of things. Hopefully the guys have learned their lesson on watching how the Pakistan players played it, and also learning from our mistakes in the previous game. And yeah, the rest is up to the players to go out there and put the numbers on the board. I certainly do believe we've got the batting lineup to do it. We need 1 or 2 guys to really get stuck in and get 1 or 2 hundreds, and hopefully the rest of the guys can bat around them. So yeah, I'm pretty confident that we can turn it around. It's like I said, we had a good honest chat after the first test, and I think we learned a lot from watching them and from a couple of our mistakes. So hopefully we can rectify that in the second test.
Bazif and then Telford.
Yeah, hello, Mark. Bazif Jabbar from cricket.pk. Mark, as we all have heard, that Quinton de Kock was forced to take the captaincy role, and he wasn't exactly ready for that. So now he seems a little low with the bat. So do you think that the captaincy role is affecting him? On a whole, how would you rate Quinton de Kock as a captain?
Okay, so he wasn't forced to take the captaincy. It was a conversation that we had, and he said that he would do it in the interim while we sort of have a look and see what other names we might be able to throw into the pot for captaincy. It's been tough on Quinny. Obviously, if you're not scoring runs, it sort of gets highlighted, especially if you're a captain. But I think we're not that harsh on Quinny in this environment. We know that he's a quality player, and there's a good innings around the corner for Quinny. He has been given the extra burden of being a captain. I think that can be tough. And something that he's not used to. The good side of that is that when we get back after this particular tour, we've got a bit of time now before our next test series, so we can sit down and probably make a good solid call on who can take over from him and release him from that burden going forward, and hopefully try to get the best out of him. It wasn't really a consideration on making extreme decisions during a tour, especially a 2-match test series. Especially now, I don't think it's time for panic. I think it's time for us to sort of get closer as a unit and make some good solid calls, and hopefully understand that if the guys put out the performances, then we'll be in a better position to win test cricket. So it's difficult to just put it all on one person, and especially as a talent like Quinny being a captain. It's not his fault that we're in the situation 1-0 down at the moment. It's just some very poor cricket on day one that I think is the reason why we 1-0 down at the moment.
How's it, Mark? I think the general view is that your preparation for the first test was very good. Lots of people have said so, and I think Rassi the other day said, "Damn, we just didn't follow the preparation." So did you prepare differently this time, or what did you do to try and avoid the same thing happening?
No, we didn't. We prepared, as I said just now. I think sometimes you can talk to players and we can give them as much information as we can. Bottom line is that what is experience? Experience is actually sometimes physically going out there and experience it for yourself. We spoke about the patience that you need, the different mental approach, the fact that the run rates are not going to be at 3.5, 4 is what we used to in South Africa. the fact that when you defend, you got to defend with a lot of intensity. So we spoke about all these things. I think we came short, and like I said, the 2 runouts didn't help us in the first innings. But then watching them play, especially day 2, I think the guys sort of realized, okay, well, what we spoke about, it's happening right in front of us now. So we sort of understand how you have to go about batting in the subcontinent. So I think, as we saw in the second innings, of day 3, we lost a couple of wickets, which didn't help the cause. If we didn't lose those couple of wickets, I thought we'd have been in a fairly good position in that game. But yeah, that didn't happen that way. But I just look at the way that the guys have been practicing now. There's a lot more care on keeping their wicket. There's a lot more intensity when they defend. Not so many shots in the nets, all that type of stuff. So I think the mental preparation going into this game has been good, because they've actually witnessed it and seen how Pakistan have actually played and how to put a big score together. So I think the learning, sometimes, you can talk as much as you can. They've actually sometimes got to see it to believe that that's the way of going about building innings in subcontinent conditions.
Thank you.
Final question, Ken.
Thanks, Shivakazi. Mark, you've mentioned the batting, of course, and I guess there was, on that third morning, I think it was, when the bowling would have been a bit disappointing. But what did you think of the fielding? They just seemed to lack a certain, normally the Proteas, there's like an intensity in the field that puts pressure on the opposition in itself, never mind the bowling.
Ken, I'll be honest with you, I thought it was there towards the end of day 1, when we picked up 4 wickets. It was certainly there the next morning. It tends to happen when you have a long partnership. It sort of breaks down a fielding side. We had a couple of opportunities, albeit sharp opportunities. You take 1 or 2 of those, we might have been in a very good position. And it's something that we have spoken about. No one drops catches on purpose, but that can be the changing of a game. We've just witnessed it now, Australia against India as well. If you don't take those sharp opportunities, you're up against it. So I think, we did speak about, in the beginning, the intensity was there in the field throughout the second day when we were building a bit of pressure. I think it was there as well. Day 3, you rightly say that the sort of the floodgates opened a bit. I don't think we bowled well at all, especially with having them going at 1.5, 2 runs and over, and then the first 6 overs we went for 45 runs, which is totally against the sort of run rates in the entire game. So I think that's when maybe we were a bit slack. I don't know if it shouldn't be fatigue. I think it is more just the position that we're in, and maybe the guys going, yeah, we've actually let it slide here because we had this game, and they've sort of got a bit of they've got ahead of the game at the moment. So yeah, I think we have spoken about the fielding and taking those 1 or 2 opportunities. I don't think the intensity was too bad, other than the morning of the third day.